NTV's Grow. We're here together finally, Steve.
We are at Cattlemen's Classic, so that's really exciting to be here on location, learning about what's happening in the cattle business.
And we have a lot in the cattle business that we'll talk about on the show, but also it's FFA week this week.
And we have a ton of photos. We are paying tribute to all those FFA kids from all across the state.
So first of all, let's get to some of the show here. First, we're going to talk about the Royal Ice Sale, a big event here at the Cattlemen's Classic.
It is, why leave things to chance? Science, genetics, put it all to work and build your herd.
Up for auction, frozen embryos and semen for artificial insemination. 30 lots of championship stock were up for grabs.
An easy way to raise some very consistent cattle, bred the way you want them, without having to spend a lot of money for a bull or a cow to get them same genetics. It's an automatic thing that you can buy 3, 4, 5 eggs, whatever it is, and have 3, 4, 5 calves that are all the same.
And many expect the purchasing and selling of livestock embryos to become even more popular in the future.
Cattle market, regardless, you're always looking for new clientele, and you want to put something out there that those people are going to come back and use over and over again.
It's just an opportunity to get a hold of some of the newest, most popular genetics in the nation.
Senator Deb Fisher, among those who visited Cattlemen's Classic, says events like this, Maryland, remind her of the need for a farm bill. The senator says she looks forward to getting out to Kearney for the annual event. Her visit came fresh off the heels of that much-anticipated farm bill.
One thing, Steve, while I've been out here at the Classic, it's really refreshing and wonderful to see how many young adults are going into that show ring and even have their own herds.
I've met some of those kids, and it's impressive that they're out there building those herds and showing off at a show like this, so here's more.
Does this guy have a name?
This is Cruz.
Cruz. Hi, buddy.
I am selling one of my bulls at the sale that I raised by myself. I brought one of my bulls last year, and then I have my own herd and my family's group of cows. 15, I just turned 15.
15, you have your own herd starting early. How important is that?
It's very important because I believe it's going to help me get through college and have a future in the agricultural industry and any other industry. I believe it helps develop as a person, and I think it's a good industry to be in.
To see someone your age, you're 17, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Know so much and be so passionate about this is really refreshing. What would you say to anyone else who's younger and then maybe thinking that maybe I should continue being in agriculture like my family or even look into it?
I would definitely encourage people to stay involved in agriculture, or if you're not, to get involved in it. One thing that I find very refreshing is that last year or 2 years ago, Omaha Bryan started an FFA chapter, and that's very cool because they're in an urban setting, but they're still teaching kids how they can be involved in agriculture. There's the saying that it's cows, sows, and plows, but agriculture is so much more than that. It's biotechnology, it's mechanics, it's marketing, it's education, it's medicine. There's so many facets of it. So even if you don't think that you want to raise crops or livestock, there's something in agriculture for you.
Maryland, technology really seems to be taking over many tasks on the farm, but some still believe in doing things the old-fashioned way, using horses as an essential tool in their ranching operations.
And horses were featured out here at the Classic. The Cattlemen's Classic featured the working cow horse competition. Prospective buyers got to view various techniques, see how well horses handled riders, and how cattle savvy they are and their reaction to commands. Participants say shows like this are great reminders of how valuable horses can be.
You know, there's still people out there saddling horses and going and doing their work and taking care of their cattle and doing things, though sometimes the old ways is the best way.
Speaking of horses, horse racing has some roots here in Nebraska as well.
It definitely does, but its future is a little more uncertain. The season kicked off this weekend at Fonner Park with good weather, and they've had around 800 horses on the grounds. But horse racing in Nebraska isn't what it once was, with tracks in Lincoln and Omaha only holding a few races a year just to keep their licenses.
You know, we don't take any pride in being one of only about 2 racetracks that are running more than just a few races. But by the same token, our schedule that we have through the years, there are very few tracks that do race the same time of the year that we are racing. And as a result of that, we get horses from all over the country that will come here. And
officials at Fonner Park are hopeful Lincoln will get a full schedule of races in the next few years.
In Nebraska politics, pork producers are hoping for some legislation that could increase pork production here in the state.
But Farmers Union says that it would make a bad situation even worse. The bill would end the state's prohibition of packer ownership of hogs, which would lead to more hogs being raised in Nebraska and generate dollars for the state.
But Farmers Union says it's akin to selling your soul to the company's store. That bill would not apply to cattle. Marilyn, we've talked a lot about fructose on the show, and a university scientist here in Nebraska says it's gotten a bad rap, and undeservedly so.
And obesity rates have been over the last 4 years rising, but nutrition scientist Tim Carr says fructose consumption did not rise. He says it was glucose from starch that has become a bigger part of the American diet. Carr says corn syrup use has risen significantly, but it replaces another form of fructose, so total consumption is actually steady. Burritos with a side of satire.
Or, Marilyn, some might say a side of propaganda, as Chipotle launches a series it's calling Farmed and Dangerous. The burrito chain is putting the original series on the web. It features a cast you might have seen in shows like 24, Mad Men, and Parks and Recreation. The company says it's a satire of corporate farming and features exploding cows that are fed petroleum. Chipotle says it's in line with the company's values, saying the company has better ingredients.
Farmers have taken to social media to condemn the burrito chain. They say the company unfairly targets farmers and says it does not represent the care farmers and ranchers take for their animals.
Data, Maryland, shows that the number of Nebraska farms is on the rise, but the size of those farms is actually shrinking.
Now, taking a look at that data, according to 2012 USDA Census of Agriculture, the average number of farms in the state over the past 5 years increased by about 5% to nearly 50,000. Farmland remained about the same since 2007 at 45.3 million acres.
Still to come, Maryland, you caught up with the cattle producer in South Dakota, really devastated their herds after that early fall.
It really does put it into perspective, and the recovery is ongoing. We'll be back after this.